President Buhari pleads with warring communities, says government is on top of events and is moving with force to crush the perpetrators of recent incidents of unrest in Plateau State, just as Governor Aguele gives update on security situation in the state. These and more you get on Panorama today. I'm Ruth Aguele. Welcome. The presidency wishes to assure all citizens that as government, the administration is on top of events and is moving ahead with force to crush the perpetrators of recent incidents of unrest in Plateau State. Let's see that.
Statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu. The presidency says to achieve success, communities in Plateau State must unite against these horrific attacks. While these troubled communities are being reinforced with security personnel, religious, traditional and other community leaders must not allow the use of their spaces for the propagation and incitement to violence. It is important for both Nigerians and the international community to appreciate that there are a multitude of factors attendant to these troubles. There is Boko Haram, an issue of terrorism, as well as the spate of kidnappings for ransom, transformed by some misinformed global media into a Muslim and Christian threat. Yet in reality, there are no religious connotations at all. Similarly, the presidency cited the harder-farmer clashes, saying while international voices and some Nigerian politicians who seek personal gain from division declare this a matter of religion, it is almost entirely a matter of access to water and land. Herders have moved their cattle into contact with farmers for millennia, but increasingly due to population pressure, escalating aridity of northern states and climate change, they are forced to travel further south to find grazing lands. Then in the southeast, the proscribed IPOP are not struggling for freedom when they attack police stations and property, but rather committing acts of terrorism in order to steal money. IPOP, the presidency said, is not defending Christians as their highly paid foreign lobbyists claim, when almost every citizen of those states they terrorize is uniformly Christian. As for Nigerians, what is needed, the presidency said, is coming together by casting asunder to those who seek to divide the country for their own nefarious acts.
Well, following that, Plateau State Governor Simon Bakola has spoken to the people of the state on the recent disturbances which resulted to imposing curfew in some parts of the state. He says from the engagement so far, it has again become clear that all these attacks are purely criminal activities that must be treated as such, even though they are quickly given ethno-religious connotations. In a live broadcast, the governor noted that there is no justification for the killing of anyone, no matter the grievance, as the society is guided by laws.
Events of the recent past have cast a dark shadow on the progress and the huge investments we have made in peace building and crime fighting within the last 6 years. Due to the recent attacks in Jos North, Bassa, Priom, and Barikin Ladi, we have witnessed the unfortunate disruption to the peace and security of the state by criminal elements, leading to the loss of innocent lives, properties, farm crops, and livestock.
Governor Lalong, who met with President Muhammadu Buhari to seek more deployment of security forces, paid a visit to Yelwa Zangam village of Jos North local government area to commiserate with the families of those affected, reassured that government will stop at nothing to apprehend all the fleeing suspects behind the attacks.
Medical bills of those who are receiving treatment in various health facilities. As a result of these occurrences, I convened a high-level stakeholders meeting where traditional, political, community, and religious leaders gathered to brainstorm on how to bring an end to this cycle of violence.
In his address, he said those who fail to follow lawful means to settle their grievances should be ready for a showdown with government, as the state will not tolerate killings and destruction of property under any guise. While appreciating the media platforms for performing their duties, Governor Lalong commended the people of conscience across different faiths ethnic and political backgrounds that have remained objective, dispassionate and resolute towards condemning the criminal actions of the attackers and offering useful suggestions to government on ways to improve public safety.
The Plateau Peace Building Agency has conducted over 34 mediation engagements at community levels in Miango, Kwal, Dusemkura, and Gelobari districts of Basa local government.
The governor also commended his Kebbi state counterpart, the Governor Atiku Abubakar Bagudu, who led a delegation of the All Progressives Governors Forum to commiserate with the state and make donations to victims.
I wish to commiserate with the entire citizens of the state over these sad developments. I particularly extend my deep condolences to the families of those who lost their loved ones, as well as those who sustained injuries and lost properties during the carnage.
The state government, it disclosed, has decided that the curfew in Jos North and Jos South is to be relaxed beginning from Monday 30th August 2021. The curfew shall be enforced from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. until further notice. The ban on tricycles and hawkers remain in force within Jos Bukuru metropolis. Governor Lalong called on all citizens of Plateau State to work in synergy and promote the long-standing ideals of accommodation, tolerance, love, hard work, godliness and forgiveness, which they are known for. The elders and stakeholders of Pangshin local government area, Plateau State, arose from its regular meeting on Saturday, acknowledging Governor Simon Bakola Long and all the security agencies for the efforts made to ensure security on the plateau. A statement made available to the media, the elders and stakeholders condemned what it called unjustifiable attacks on lives and property in the state, while acknowledging the impact of the State Interreligious Council and the 5 years roadmap to peace and security and several other initiatives. The meeting expressed concern over the content of the Plateau State House of Assembly press conference on Thursday, 27th August 2021. It said the legislative arm should not be seen to be assuming the position of the executive by giving directives to local government chairmen to recruit vigilantes and giving the governor ultimatum to take action on certain motions of the House, constitutionally are advisory. The Pangshin local government area elders and stakeholders prayed for return of peace on the plateau and urged everyone to support the efforts of the governor. Well, as the news of the attack on commuters and subsequent reprisals in Jos begin to fade, well, the role played by some citizens who put their lives on the line irrespective of their religious background to save others from the attacks could not be underscored. Caleb Guchin reports.
The incident of August 15, 2021 has been described as unfortunate and the greatest setback to the efforts being put in place by government and other well-meaning people towards enthroning lasting peace in Plateau State. Despite the seemingly hopeless situation, there are Nigerians who are genuinely committed to peace and peaceful coexistence, with the milk of kindness still flowing in their veins. This was openly demonstrated when some residents, who are mainly Christians, at the scene of the Rukuba Road attack, risked their lives by taking some of the travelers to safety. This, opinion leaders say, is the hallmark of humanity.
This is what we are supposed to do. Whenever people want to take undue advantage on certain tribes or peoples of other religions from your own environment, try to stop it and try to rescue. And let these be a kind of bilateral kind of understanding and commitment, and it will come, inshallah, to be a matter of history.
That is what it is expected of us as Christians and as Muslims, to live in harmony, to respect human life. I want to categorically say that you will never wish even your enemy, even if it's a Christian or Muslim, you cannot even wish your enemy, the man you hate in life, to see what these people have gone through, how people have been killed.
Life should be sacred. Calling on my Nigerians, Plateau citizens, that they should be calm, they should be prayerful, and the government should do whatever it takes to fish out these criminals. They should be dealt with the way they should.
Malam Saidu Magaji is one man that would not be forgotten in a hurry, as in the wave of the reprisal attacks that followed along Bauchi Road, he sacrificed his safety for that of a pregnant Christian woman. Speaking in a telephone interview, he said he was tapped severally by the mob, but could not let go of Justina, as even though he is Fulani Muslim, he had the conviction to protect lives.
They have never done anything wrong to me and seen from me.
He advises parents to train their children properly by inculcating moral values in them. Meanwhile, Justina, who was treated and discharged from a hospital in Jos, says she will ever live to be grateful to God for keeping her alive.
The driver tried his best along with 3 other Muslims to save me.
Kaduna State Police Command orders full-scale investigation into what it calls unfortunate assassination of Captain Abdul Karim Ibn Na'Allah, the 6-year-old son of Senator Bala Ibn Na'Allah. In a release by ASP Mohammed Jalige, Police Public Relations Officer indicates the assassins forcefully gained access into the residence of the deceased at Umar Gwandu Road, Malali, Kaduna, during night hours, choked him to death in cold blood, and made away with his Lexus SUV to an unknown destination. The deceased was, until his untimely death, a pilot by profession and not an army captain, has been peddled in some quarters of the media. The Ministry of Labour and Employment says the 21-day ultimatum given to the federal government by the Nigerian Medical Association is direct collision with the Memorandum of Action, with a timeline in Article 2, 7, 8 and 10 of the MOA signed on August 21, 2021. A statement by the spokesman of the ministry, Charles Akpan, says the federal government is religiously implementing its own side of the agreement, but till now, both NARD, Postgraduate and Medical College are yet to submit the validated application for the eligible doctors missed out in 2020 to enable payment. Also is Article 7 on withdrawal of the circular from the Office of the Head of Service, removing House and NYC doctors from the scheme of service, says the NMA should submit her position immediately to the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Health, for onward transmission to the Office of the Head of Civil Service of the Federation, with a view to processing an issuance of clarification circular within 2 months. The NMA says is yet to comply with this. Similarly, the technical committee set up in Article 7 to tackle the backlog of arrears on GISMIS was given 4 weeks effective Monday, August 31st, 2021, August 30, 2021 to round off its assignments. Is this not a collision with the 21-day ultimatum? It's action. It is therefore clear that the 21-day ultimatum will neither assist the NMA discharge the role assigned to it in the MOU nor facilitates the faithful implementation of the timeline which the federal government has given every attention. States controlled by the All Progressives Congress have agreed to align with federal government declaration of 15% annual allocation and release to healthcare services. A statement by the Director General of APC Governors Forum, Salihu Mohammed Lukman, says Commissioners for Health and Executive Secretaries of Primary Healthcare Development Agency of APC-controlled states at the end of a strategic engagement have agreed to establish sustainable health care financing systems. They also plan to domesticate primary health care under one roof, in line with federal government policy initiative under the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, with priority consideration for maternal and child nutrition and primary healthcare delivery services. They also adopted plans to strengthen regular processing of information sharing on issues of primary healthcare delivery to ensure synergy and proactive COVID-19 response efforts, including immunization. The people of Gombe North Senatorial District have thrown their weight behind good governance under the Inuwa Yahaya administration in Gombe State. Now, this is contained in a resolution at the end of the All Progressives Congress stakeholders meeting held in Kwame local government area. Emmanuel Akila reports.
The meeting, chaired by Ambassador Yerima Abdullahi, has sons and daughters of Gombe North Senatorial District in attendance. For them, the developmental strides of the Ino Yahya administration, which turned the Gombe Specialist Hospital into a true referral health facility, while ensuring that every political ward in the 5 local government areas of the zone has at least one functional health care facility, just like all the others across the state, besides other infrastructure, are some of the reasons they declared support to the administration.
The most important thing is the peaceful environment. That people are living in peace throughout this period.
Governor has done a lot in all facets of human endeavor in terms of infrastructure, healthcare delivery, agriculture, ease of doing business, security, to mention but a few.
After the elders and all critical stakeholders of Gombe North Senatorial District have gone through the scorecards of His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Gombe State, Alhaji Muhammadu Inohaya, we unanimously agreed to pass a vote of confidence on him.
In a 7-point communique at the end of the meeting, the APC stakeholders appreciate the leadership of Governor Muhammadu Inohaya for the peaceful conduct of the just concluded nationwide ward congresses of the APC in Gombe State. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
You're watching Panorama. Let's go on a break. We're back. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Authorities of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency have apprehended a narco trafficker at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, for ingesting 87 wraps of cocaine. The 41-year-old suspect arrived on board an Ethiopian airline from Kigali via Addis Ababa. Similarly, a Lagos-based drug dealer was also arrested with 4.15 kilograms of methamphetamine consignment going to London at Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja. The drug was concealed in tins of tomato, branded and packaged for delivery. Meanwhile, raids of drug joints carried out across states in the last week have led to the seizure of 400.37 kilograms of illicit substances. He was a man who achieved his dream of setting his foot on all the 7 continents of the world, with only a few countries slipping out of the list of countries where he has lived. And back home, late Abdullahi Isa No Sweat established himself as a journalist by excellence until he answered the final call. Abdullahi Mohammed was in Yola, the Adamawa state capital, where he met some of his acquaintances and family.
He was honest, straightforward.
It was a candid account of a man who spent part of his life by the pen, with his stories making headlines for their reflection of his dogged stance for freedom of expression and detest for dishonesty.
He set the pace in the field of journalism. He was an embodiment of knowledge.
But that's not what made Abdullahi No Sweat stood tall among his peers. He was a man who says to any listening ear that his sojourn across the world is unrivaled.
That's why when he spoke about his travels, he always qualified it. He said he's the most widely, roughly traveled Nigerian.
Unfortunately, he never documented his experiences as he traveled the world, but he has a number of confidants who have a library of his life in their memory. So I began to flip the pages of the book of his travels from Timaeus Matthias, who first met him in Pakistan.
Yusuf Mamman, my colleague, ran into a black African on a movie set and became curious as to what this black African was doing among Pakistanis. And when he spoke with him, he told him he was from Africa. His accent had changed. And then later we were to learn that he is from Nigeria.
And Abadabo, who was my editor at the New Nigeria, also wrote a column on him. And Abadabo was a beautiful writer. He later became President Sheikh Shagari's press secretary. He wrote a column captioned Ambassador Extraordinary.
Efada Udo is the author of Adama Historical Book of Fame. And during the course of writing his book, he came across the story of Abdullahi Noswet. His testimony of the experiences of Abdullahi Noswet during his exploratory travels were fascinating.
There are certain times that you, in the interview, you did mention about a striptease club that you went and were dancing there. I said, I won't put that in my book, I will edit it out. He said, no, that is the adventurous life. That's why I'm called No Sweat.
The first interview Abdullahi Noswet granted in the early 80s when he finally came back home was like a narration of a blockbuster movie script.
Of all the countries you visited, can you tell us in a round figure the number of countries you visited?
Well, it's easy if I tell you the countries I've not visited, because countries are many in this world, isn't it? Well, in Asia, I've not been to North Vietnam. And in South America, I've not been to Nicaragua and Uruguay. Then in Europe, I've not been to Albania. Then in Africa, I've not been to any of the southern part of Africa. Angola, Mozambique, all those parts.
Now, all these places you visited, can you still remember any memorable event that happened to you?
Well, the first one I'll tell you quickly because they are long stories. The first one was in Syria where I nearly got executed for suspicion of being a Syrian Israeli spy.
But to get close and personal to the life of late Abdullahi Noswet, I went in search of his family, and his wife was blunt.
That's how I managed to stay with him. Sometimes it comes in a week, sometimes 3 days, and some other times, and he goes back. And that's how we managed to spend 36 years together.
That had given me everything that a child is needing from his parents. If he fights with you just for some minutes, you are now together again.
He said there's so many challenges in journalism, so he don't want me to face any challenge. I said, Baba, I can do it. He said, you are a lady, you can't do it. I was like, Baba, I will do it.
He will not let any injustice happen to anyone.
Abdullahi Isa Noswet came, sow and conquer. He passed on a fulfilled man.
A life well lived indeed. Let's talk sports.